from KAMG News. Today, I'm here with Mrs. Pellegrino to discuss what her middle school experience was like. Middle school experiences are different for everyone. Finding out what Mrs. Pellegrino's experience was like might give us ideas on what we can bring to HMS. Thank you, Mrs. Pellegrino, for being here today.
Of course.
What was your favorite part of your middle school?
Honestly, I did not like middle school very much, so I was really happy when it was over, so my favorite part was leaving. But 8th grade was pretty good. I liked 8th grade.
Were there any clubs that you were in that you think they could bring to our school?
I was on the swim team, but I don't think they could bring that here.
Yeah. Is there anything that you like from HMS that you wish you had when you were in middle school?
I like your spirit week and your pink out day, and the dunking. That is just the coolest thing. I mean, I've never heard of any other school that does that. That's so unique.
What were the school events like in your middle school, if you had any other ones besides spirit day?
We didn't really have any of those. Sorry.
We had many great field trips at our school, like the 8th grade DC trip. Were there any trips that you had when you were in middle school?
Yeah, in 6th grade we went swimming at the Fall River Boys Club, and in 7th grade we went to the Museum of Science, and in 8th grade there really wasn't a big culminating trip like you guys had. Pretty lucky.
Did any of your teachers inspire you to become one yourself?
No, but I never meant to be a teacher. But I love being a teacher, and I'm so happy I ended up where I am. But I do have teachers that when I think back on how to teach things, I think about them and they inspire the way that I teach.
Do you enjoy the subject? Did you enjoy the subject that you teach in middle school?
In middle school?
In middle school.
In some grades, yes. In some grades, no. It depended on the content, and honestly, sometimes I was teaching it.
When you were in middle school, was there anything similar to the Warrior Way?
No. We had just a general precept of, we had rules, and they probably followed the same principles that the Warrior Way has, which essentially be a decent human, but nothing defined that way.
Thank you again for being here today. And thank you everyone for watching. Now to Ashley, who will be talking about a treatment for cancer.
Hello everyone, my name is Ashley from KAMG News, and today we have a new development in the treatment of cancer. After spending almost 2 decades and a near $40 million, a new remedy may be available. There's been a historic victory for cancer patients. The FDA recently approved 2 types of CAR, or chimeric antigen receptor, T-cell immunotherapy treatments. T-cells are known as the fighters in the immune system. This treatment is told to reprogram the cells to find and kill other cancer cells. For years, the only available treatments were surgery, radiation therapy, chemotherapy, and a few others. Now, however, we are introducing a new era in cancer recovery. A shockingly fast new approach in immunotherapy is called adaptive cell transfer, or ACT, which is collecting and using a patient's own immune cells to treat their cancer. The therapy includes drawing blood from patients and separating out the T cells. The next uses a disarmed virus to genetically engineer to reproduce receptors on their surface, called chimeric antigen receptors. There are different types of ACT, including TIL, TCR, and CAR. The closest to making a treatment approved by the Food and Drug Administration are CAR T-cell immunotherapy. Until recently, the CAR T-cell immunotherapy has been restricted to small clinical trials, mostly in patients with advanced blood cancers. However, these treatments haven't exactly captured the attention from researchers and the public as well. This is because of remarkable responses they've produced in some adults and children with which other treatments hadn't stopped working. One CAR T-cell therapy was approved August 2017 for treatment of children with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, or ALL. Another was for adults suffering from advanced lymphoma, may be upcoming. Researchers do caution, however, because it's still in the early days for CAR T-cells and other ACT forms. It's questioned if they will be effective against solid tumors like breast cancer and colorectal cancer. I was lucky enough to be able to reach a local immunology doctor. She has over 20 years of experience as a clinical trial investigator. She told me there is a very promising new therapy. If the CAR T-cell immunotherapy is a productive and efficient new treatment, we may have struck medical gold in the research center. Now, to Garrett with a new development on fundraising.
Hi, I'm Garrett, and I'm a part of KAMG News, and today I'm talking about some fundraising in the NFL. So as crazy as it seems, Chris Long, defensive player on the Eagles in the NFL, is donating worth $1 million to educational charities. This is basically his whole 2017 base salary, which is a crazy amount of money. He has also set up a fundraiser for people to donate with him and match his contribution. He said that his fundraiser has almost made $100,000 in only 24 hours by his fans and athletes. He announced this on October 19th at 10:56 a.m. on his Twitter account. There's a campaign called Pledge 10 for Tomorrow, which is also encouraging things like businesses to help match Long's donation. Long has announced that he is going to donate his next 10 game checks to his foundation. I can't believe how much money Long is donating to his foundation. This is absolutely incredible. He is donating his next 10 game checks to the cities in which he spent his 10-year career. These places would be Boston, Philadelphia, and St. Louis. The money is actually going to educational charities to increase educational opportunity and educational equality. Long had said educational opportunity and equity are the best gateway to a better tomorrow for everyone in America. So basically, the money will go to schools and kids that need an education. Roger Goodell and NFL owners were going to find a way to help players' social causes, but oddly they changed their minds due to things like kneeling towards the national anthem because of the violence last summer in Charlottesville. I think this is quite stupid because these players' social causes are going to the needy and has nothing to do with the national anthem or last summer in Charlottesville. So this amount of money from an NFL player is literally crazy. $1 million going to the needy. Chris Long is an amazingly thoughtful man for doing this. Well, thank you for your time, everyone, about Chris Long's fundraiser. Next up is Matthew, and he'll be talking about the history of Seekonk, Massachusetts. Have a good day, everyone, and have a Merry Christmas.
This is Matt from KAMG News. Let's get right into the news. Hello, my name is Matt. Today I will talk about the history of Seekonk. A lot has happened in Seekonk from the 1600s to today. Let's get into some Seekonk history. First off, the geography of Seekonk contains rolling hills with extensive wetlands in the central part of Seekonk, Massachusetts. Seekonk might seem like a small town, but there was actually a war in Seekonk. During King Philip's War, settlers fled out of Seekonk to the north and south out of Seekonk. The settlers took refuge in several garrison houses. Garrison is an architectural style. The buildings suffered severe damage during the war. It was not until 1676 that settlers returned to Seekonk. This was before Seekonk was a town. Seekonk officially became a town in 1812 from the western part of Rehoboth. Victory for Seekonk. 2 industrial areas were made to supplement agricultural economy, one of the businesses being the Rumford Chemical Works. Then one day, the western part of Seekonk, now East Providence, wanted their own town to themselves. Industry of the 18th and 19th century was lost when East Providence was incorporated. East Providence got the better end of the deal. This change took half of Seekonk's territory, 2/3 of the town's valuation, and more than 2/3 of its population. The town of Seekonk remained agricultural until the 20th century. Although Kent Manufacturing did make tennis rackets and croquet sets on the upper reaches of the 10-mile river, industry was dying in Seekonk. A new player was in town. Residential housing was the new industry. With the opening of the Providence and Taunton Street Railway in 1891, Seekonk became an increasingly residential suburb of Providence. Seekonk's industrial days were over. There has been a decline in industry and agricultural since 1891. Today, Seekonk functions as a suburb of Providence and housing for people who work in Boston. Today, Seekonk is suburban housing. Most of the farms have been bought up and turned into residential housing. This has been just 400 years of history. What holds for the future of Seekonk will be determined by our great-grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. What holds for the future of Seekonk will be written one day in a news story just like this. Maybe the future inhabitants of Seekonk will read this 400 years from now. Maybe. This is Matt from KAMG News.
Thank you for watching KAMG News.